Hey everybody, Ian Lee here. Hope y'all are doing well. In today's video, part 4 of my series, Intro to Chord Scales, we're going to be playing with the diatonic cycle of fourths, which if you haven't explored this before or played with it before, I think you're really going to enjoy it. It's something that, like most things in music, it is really infinite in its possibilities and what you can do with it, and endless in so many ways. So, and in the best kind of way. Where it's just a lifetime of play, as it were. So let's go ahead and dive into this. We are going to be using the 2 chord scales we explored in the prior videos, so if you would like to watch those at some point, I'll leave a link to a playlist in the card above, and links to the videos, the prior 3 episodes, in the description below. So before we start applying the chord scales, let's get a conceptual idea of what the diatonic cycle of fourths is. Once you have an idea of any concept, really once you get that baseline foundation of understanding of what it is, you can begin to apply these things anywhere that you want and anywhere they can make sense in the world of music. So let's get that down first. Let's take the circle of fifths first. I'm sure most of you watching have heard of or played with the circle of fifths, and if you haven't really played with it, let's clear it up a little bit really quick. You can always, while you're watching this, just Google the circle of fifths, click on images, and you'll get many, hopefully some decent ones, and just click on one of those. What you'll see, and for those of you who know what I'm talking about, is you'll have the circle, and at the very top you'll have the note C. So let's start there. Going around that circle, we have C, G, this is going clockwise by the way, C, G, D, A, E, B. Okay, then we're going to go to F sharp or G flat, D flat, A flat, E flat, B flat, F, C. Okay. Now, if we go counterclockwise, we're going to move in what we call the cycle of fourths. Some people may call it the circle of fourths. This is just what I've heard it called, so I'm going to stick with cycle of fourths. I like using the 2 different words. It makes a differentiation in my own mind. So, but I don't think it really matters. You do whatever works for you. Now we're going to play around that cycle. So let's start with that note C again. And again, we're going counterclockwise. So we're going C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat or F sharp. Then we're going to go to B. I'm going to go ahead and go E on the low E, but then I'll jump up an octave. A, D, G, C. So now we've made our way around the circle of fifths and the cycle of fourths. Now that, when we do all 12 tones in either direction, that's what we call the chromatic circle of fifths or the chromatic cycle of fourths. So that's when we are using all 12 tones, just moving in either direction. So then what makes the diatonic cycle of fourths different? Well, the word diatonic means of the scale, right? So what that means is we're going to move around the cycle of fourths, but we're only going to use notes that occur naturally in whatever scale we happen to pick or choose. This could apply to melodic minor, harmonic minor, major. It could be harmonic major. You could be playing with some of Barry Harris's scales of chords. I actually haven't moved that through the diatonic cycle of fourths before. I'm not sure how it would work, but it's just moving through any scale in this way. You'll see that it works really beautifully with major in particular. So what we're going to do, let's just move through the root notes first. We're going to be moving counterclockwise. We're going to hit C and then an F, and then we're going to skip 5 notes, and we're going to go to B, and then from there we'll complete the cycle all the way to C. So let's just go ahead and play these root notes on the guitar. So again, we'll start with C, and then F, and then we're going to go to B. Okay, now we have to go to E, A, D, G, C. So now we've moved through the cycle of fourths, but diatonically only using notes that exist inside of C major. Now let's begin to apply the 2 different chord scales and shapes that we learned in the last few videos. So what we learned were these two shapes. We have C major here. Okay? And so what that is that's very commonly called a drop 2 shape. In guitar lingo, I'm not going to get into what that means. It's a piano term that we apply to the guitar, but it just means that currently you're playing 4 strings in a row. Okay? And then this shape. This is commonly called a drop 3 shape. So in guitar lingo or guitar world, that means play a string, skip a string, play string 3 strings in a row. Okay, so that's a C major 7 and a G major 7. Okay. Now, here's what we're going to do. When we have a root note on the A string, I'm going to use one of these shapes from that chord scale, okay, as I move through the diatonic cycle of fourths. And if we have root notes on the low E string, I'm going to use one of these drop 3 shapes, okay, and we're only going to be in C. So let's go ahead and play through this a little bit. That's a drop 3 on C major. Now my root note is going to be F, so I'm moving to the 4 chord, and that's going to be on the A string, so that's my drop 2 shape. Now I have to move to B, according to the cycle and the way we're moving through it. So I need to play a B minor 7 flat 5 using this drop 3 shape. Okay. And then I'm going to move to E minor 7, drop 2 shape. And then I'm going to move to A minor 7. Forgive my feedback there. And then I'm going to have a D minor 7. Okay, and then G7, drop 3. I'm barring here. You can also play with 4 individual fingers. There's value to both. Okay, so I'll play it through it a little more quickly. Okay, so what I'm doing there, let's just go over this a little further, because I think, again, you'll begin to see a lot of value in this. We're actually playing some really common progressions that we see in jazz and swing music. So, 1 to 4. D-I-Do does that. I do it in the key of D, so really quick. Do I want you? So that's 1, do I love you, right? And then we're moving 4 to 7 to 3 to 6 to 2 to 5 to 1. So 3, 6, 2, 5. How many times has that happened in a jazz number? 2, 5, 1. How many times has that happened? So you're practicing these cycles that already happen all the time. So many songs, right? So you're getting to work through these chord progressions in a way that is practical and pragmatic, but you also get to practice beautiful things and come up with your own variations and ideas, which I think is what we should be doing, is kind of developing our own language within the language of the world. Okay, so let's go ahead and take what we've been working on these last 2 rounds. Now, if you remember, I was doing this thing where I would play the upper chunk of the drop 3. So in this instance, the C major 7, I'm playing. Okay. And then I would just keep moving that same concept through the scale. Now, what we're going to do in this bottom, this drop 2 chord with the root on the A string, is I'm going to pluck the A, D, and B string first, and then I'm going to pluck the G string as a delayed note. So, okay. So just between C major to F major 7, C major 7 to F major 7, that's how this will look and sound. we do from there is we move that same concept and pattern through the diatonic cycle of fourths. So you're still playing in C major on both chord types and string sets, but you're kind of doing one scale pattern per chord type and string set. So for the low E string, I'm going, let's see, how do I do that? Yeah. Right? But for this one, I'm going, okay, so let's put it all together. And so now we have some really beautiful music that we're getting to make. And maybe you could use this in a progression that you know already. You could always alter the 3-6-2-5 aspect of this to be dominant, so that you have like a bridge, like rhythm changes, where you have to go. There's a lot of things we could make from this. Like I said, it's really quite endless. In fact, a video I posted a few weeks ago, I took some Jimmy Weibel ideas, the great contrapuntal guitar player, and put it through the diatonic cycle of fourths. So again, it's one of those things that you could just be noodling on the couch, but coming up with these really beautiful sounds. I'll continue to explore this more and share it more, because I'd like to do it all the time anyways. Ted Green was who I really got turned on to this by. Well, Adam Levy, who is a wonderful guitar player and teacher, and has a great YouTube channel if you want to check him out. And then he learned it from Ted Green, and so I was able to take Modern Chord Progressions, which is a great book by Ted Green. If you haven't heard of that, I'll leave a link in the description below. And it's really worth checking out. And that he has a lot of really great diatonic cycle of fourths exercises. But within that, you can come up with your own ideas right out the gate. Even just doing little delay things like I was talking about. Play the bottom 3 notes of a chord, and then play the top, and then go. Whatever you want to do with it. The possibilities are endless. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below or reach out via email. I'd be happy to help in any way that I can. All right, have a great day, and we'll talk soon.